Hello and welcome to another tutorial of HTML and CSS. In this tutorial, we will be looking at tables, which is another HTML entity, not used as much as it was in the past, however, still being used. And in combination of HTML and CSS, you can achieve a lot of beautiful things. So in this tutorial, I would only like to introduce the concept of tables to you. A table is a two-dimensional entity, so it has rows and it has columns, and it is symmetrical. That means that if you have like 4 by 4 or 3 by 9, so you're going to notice that each row having an equal number of boxes. And so basically it maintains a symmetry. However, it is quite possible for you to span multiple rows, multiple columns. That's something that we'll be looking at later on. However, for now, let's understand a table to be a two-dimensional symmetrical entity with X number of rows and X number of columns. In order to create a table in HTML, we use a tag called table. This table tag has several children tag to do different kind of activities. For example, if you were to generate a row, a table row, we use a tag called tr, and this allows us to create a row of a table. If you would like to add columns in that row, we use a tag called td, which is the definition of the term that you're defining, or the cell that you're defining. So right now I have created a table with one row, and a row has 3 cells. If I go down to the next row, I'll try to do the same. I'll copy it and paste it. So now I maintain that symmetry of a row having 3 cells or 3 boxes. So here in this example, I have created so far 2 rows, and there's nothing stored in them, so they're just empty. So if I would like to generate some data here, let's say I put in here first name, last name, and city. So I come down here to the next row, type here somebody's name, now let me generate another row. I'm going to put somebody else's name here. And now let's look at how it looks like in the execution mode. So run, choose a browser, and when the browser loads, you will going to notice that it will going to show you that how the table actually will going to appear. Now notice, just by looking at it, you can't really say it's a table. All you can tell is that everything is aligned well. The L for the last name, the C for the Cox, and the J for the Jefferson, they all align, and they're all left aligned. Other than that, you can't really tell that if the data has been placed in a table or it has been organized with help of spaces. However, there's a property of a table that we will going to explore now. That's called border. If you come to the table tag and add a border to a table, let's say I'm using a border size 1, and go back to your HTML page and refresh it, and now you can see that it is a table as it's being surrounded by the border. So you can create a very basic table with some very basic properties. Now, one more thing that the HTML developers will do, programmers will do, is if it's a heading row, instead of using TD, they may use TH. And CSS programmers truly take advantage of this, that instead of they having to define an ID, sometimes they just write some properties for TH, as they know that TH will only be used in the first row. So instead of defining an ID and then using that ID wherever there's a TH all over your site, instead of doing all of that hassle, you simply go about writing properties in TH. Others would name their IDs with certain names that they will use in the TR every time there is a TR that holds other THs. So after I have converted these to THs, now we will going to once again look at the output. This is how it looks like now, and this is how it will going to change to. As you have noticed, the first row has automatically adopted bold and has already been centered, and you can only see that for the city, that how centered it is. The first name and last name, since by default table doesn't take up the size of the entire window, it only takes up as much space as the content that it holds, so it auto fits to the contents. Now, if I come to the table and I give it a width property and say, okay, I would like you to expand to like 200 pixels. The default is 200 pixels. Once again, we are working with pure HTML. We have not incorporated any CSS properties yet. CSS will definitely enhance a lot of things here. So I can basically assign properties to the table and work my way around that. I think 200 is already the width, so let me increase it to like 400 so that you can see the difference, and this is how it will going to look like when the width is set to 400. And now you can easily see the first name, the last name, and the city, how well they are center line for each one of the columns. So that's how you can be creating a very basic table. In the coming tutorials, we're going to then explore some of the other elements, like as to how you can incorporate CSS and how you can incorporate some of the other properties as far as the tables are concerned. So we're going to cover those in our next tutorial. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.